I have read 47 books this year, and 14 of them have been five-star reads, so let's talk about them. I take five-star reads very seriously. I will rate a book 4 stars, I'll rate a book 4.5 stars, like super easy. But a five-star read is really hard for me to rate. And honestly, it's just about vibes for me. Like, if a book is either so emotionally damaging that I cry about it for an hour, or if a book is just like so, like, what just happened, and I'm just like contemplating life for the next 2 to 3 business days, then I consider that a five-star read. If a book can move me so emotionally and so mentally, then I think it's just like a masterpiece artwork that deserves to be put in a museum and given all the flowers. So these are all my five-star reads of 2026 so far. So to start off, I'm going to talk about standalones or the first book in a series. Starting off with one of my most recent five-star reads is Daggermouth. Now, I've heard so much about this and I've heard so much hype, so I was very skeptical going in because of just how much it's been talked about, but it is so worth it. It's such a great dark dystopian romance read, and I think that genre is making a comeback. The second one is kind of crazy that I haven't read it so far because it's a classic, it's loved so much, the movie is loved so much, and that is Pride and Prejudice. I just never read it. And there's nothing else to say about that. While I was reading it, I found it so crazy that it was written so long ago because it is so timeless. It is so funny, it's so witty, and it was just a very enjoyable read. And I'm not a big classics reader. I want to read more classics this year, and it was just a great starting point for me. Next one is the most recent Emily Henry novel, which is Great Big Beautiful Life. This is actually my favorite Emily Henry novel, and that is a surprise because some people either loved it or they hated it. It is very different to her other novels, where Great Big Beautiful Life is more of a dual timeline situation, and the romance is not sort of the main plot of this novel. It's there and it's lovely and it's beautiful, but it's not the focus of this novel, which I personally really enjoyed. I thought it was really different. It reminded me a little bit of The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, just sort of the journalism piece of that and how they were like sort of going back into this timeline and looking at all these stories from the past and how it's influenced the main character in the book. I thought it was just really well written and I really loved it. Next one is Not Quite Dead Yet. This is Holly Jackson's first adult thriller, and it was so good. Honestly, the saddest thriller I've ever read. And if you've read it, you would know why. But it is so sad. It's written so well. The story is so interesting. The plot is so interesting. And even the title, Not Quite Dead Yet, is so perfect for this book. It was just so good. Next one is a standalone romantasy, which is A Stage Set for Villains. This was her debut novel, I believe, and it did not read like a debut at all. It was so good, so well written. It was so descriptive. It was just so unique, the concept. It was a really great read, and I definitely recommend if you're looking for a standalone romantasy, because honestly, they are so rare these days. I feel like every single book in fantasy is becoming a series. If you want just a standalone to just honestly binge over the weekend, this is the book for that. Next one that I absolutely loved was Carrie Soto is Back. Taylor Jenkins Reid is one of my favorite authors, and the fact that I haven't read Carrie Soto yet was crazy because it's one of my favorite books of her. I actually listened to the audiobook of this one, and she does audiobooks so well. It's always like amazing, like sort of background acoustics, if you will. In this book specifically, there's a lot of sort of like news anchor moments and news anchor scenes, and they kind of have like the music, and it's like the voices are really, I don't know, newsy. It just like really drew you into the story. It felt like you were like watching a TV show through your ears, which is like pretty much what audiobooks are. But it was just like so descriptive, and they did such a good job with the audiobook. Okay, so now we're coming up to five-star reads that are part of series that I've read. So starting off, I rated both The Wolf King and The Night Prince five-star reads. I don't know why, they were just so engaging. I just could not put them down. They were super bingeable. They were those sort of books where when you're like working during the day, you're sort of thinking about the books and being so excited to be able to go home and pick it up. It was literally those kind of reads, and they were so good. They were so addictive, and I'm so excited for The Wolf Queen coming out, I think next year, I believe. I'm so excited for that. Next series is the Prison Healer trilogy by Lynette Noni, a fellow Aussie, and it was so good. I rated the first book and the third book 5 stars, and I believe I rated the second book 4.5. So pretty much a 5-star series for me. It was just so engaging. The audiobook was amazing as well, did such a great job with the narrators, and could not recommend that one enough. Now, it's kind of crazy that I haven't read Throne of Glass yet, but I am currently reading it. And I started reading this series last year. And what I really like about this series is because it's so long, I've been reading one book, and then I sort of take a break and I read like other stuff. Then I'll come back to the series and read the next book. And I really love doing that because if I'm ever in like a reading slump, I can go back to this series and pick up the next book and just know that I love it because I've loved every single book so far in this series. So right now I'm up to Empire of Storms. That's my next read. 5 stars that I had read this year were The Assassin's Blade and Air of Fire. They were both amazing books for me. I think Air of Fire is my favorite so far, which I found kind of surprising because I read that a lot of people love Queen of Shadows the most, but I don't know, something about Air of Fire just like made me so emotional. Watching her break in Air of Fire was like so emotional. It was so good. And then my last two 5-star reads of this year were Shield of Sparrows and Rights of the Starling. So I read Shield of Sparrows quite late. It came out last year or the year before, I believe. And I only read it this year, and I'm so glad I did because it was so good. And then Rights of the Starling, I found was just such a great sequel. It's very hard with fantasy books to create such a great sequel. I feel like I've read so many fantasies where the second book doesn't hold up as much, and then I just wish that the first book was written as a standalone. But Rights of the Starling was amazing. You do get a dual timeline story, and it was just written so well. Everything connected so well in the end. So worth like all the pain and suffering from like the first like 80% of the book. So those were my 14 5-star reads of the year so far. Fingers crossed for even more 5-star reads for the rest of the year. And let me know what your 5-star reads are so far this year, and I'll see you in the next one.